All right, guys, welcome back to the channel Trading Simplified. Today, we are going to talk about the Fidelity Small Cap Index Fund, that is ticker symbol FSSNX. And this fund is directed for those who want to get a different type of investment, looking at the equity style map. What we're trying to do is we're trying to target the small capitalization companies with a blend, which means that they have a mix of value companies and growth companies. When you invest in small cap companies, they are more riskier, but I like this fund for a particular reason because it is going to mimic the Russell 2000, and that's what this fund is based off of. The Russell 2000 consists of 2,000 companies, and Fidelity has this awesome fund that just allows you to mimic it and shadow it, and you pay a very low expense ratio. So let's get into it, let's break it down, and let's dissect this. All right, so let's look on the right side of the screen. I know there's a lot of information here, but we'll break it down nice and slowly. So the ticker symbol FSSNX, Fidelity Small Cap Index Fund, the fund overview. As you can see, it is operating in 98% of the US with 17% allocation to the industrials. What's more important is what are we investing in? The objective is to correspond to the total return of stocks of small capitalization United States companies. And just like I said before, it normally invests 80% of its assets in the Russell 2000. The Russell 2000, for those who do not know, it is just all small market capitalization. And it shows you the risks of this. Stock market, especially foreign markets, are volatile. So this is more of a long-term investment. I would look at this as you dollar cost average in, just like your 401ks. Fidelity gives you this option. You can buy this in your taxable account, your Roth, your rollover IRA, any fund that you want. You can definitely purchase this. Let's go over the quick details of it. What do we like to see here, which is great? The expense ratio is super small, 0.025%. Now, let me give you an example. If you were to invest $10,000 into this, how much money would you really be paying every single year to have this fund? All right, so Charles Schwab has a very easy way to calculate annual fees. So this is the investment fees comparison calculator. So what I did was I put in the annual fee for FSSNX at 0.03%, and it shows it produces a difference of $0. But if you really want to know the nitty gritty of how much it's going to cost you, all I did was I put in the initial investment of $10,000 once a year. And then I didn't put an annualized rate of return because I just want you to see what the fees are. So the annual investment fee is 0.03%. As you can see, it would cost you $3. So $3 to invest for every $10,000 you invest. All right, so let's do the composition. Let's break down FSSNX. What are we investing in? Let's get into the nitty gritty. In industrials, 17%, financials, 15%, healthcare, 15%, technology, 14%. We have a nice range here. We went over the equity style box. We're at a small capitalization. What this means is that it invests only in companies that have a market value below $2 billion. And it's in the United States because it's showing domestic equities at 98%, where you have 1.82% in international equities, which if you want to get specific, you have a little bit of developed at 1% and emergence at 0.5%. What's more important to me is the top 10 holdings. We know that small cap investments are dangerous, that they are very volatile. So for me, for a fund to be well-rounded, it has to have a small allocation of the top 10 holdings. I like seeing, this is why I chose this video to post, I like seeing that these top 10 companies, SMCI, SSD, ELF, all of them only make up 3.22% of the total portfolio. So you're not having any concentration risk. Because as you can see, FSNX, it follows the Russell 2000, but it has 1,977 holdings that it includes so far in the fund. All right, focusing in on here on the performance and risk, because that's very important. We want to see the history of it. The Fidelity Small Cap Index Fund over 1 year is up 10.16%, which is excellent. It's down pretty even on 3-year performance at 0.84%. But more importantly, instead of focusing on that, look at the life. 10% a year. That's what you're getting. 10% a year with a fund. That's excellent. I mean, that's what you're looking for. And it's mirroring the benchmark of the Russell 2000, 10.58% versus 10.72%. So it's actually outperforming the Russell, which is excellent because it only has 1,977 companies out of that 2,000. So maybe that made a difference there. If you looked at your hypothetical growth here, you can see $10,000 investment in 2015 would have doubled by 2024. So every 9 or 10 years, you're doubling your money. And remember, we're going to continually potentially add to this every single year as we go. So as you can see, that investment is pretty good. It paid off. You can put it into table view as well on Fidelity, which is kind of cool to look at the ticker symbol FSSNX and see how it breaks down over 10 years. All right, so let's look at the fees and distributions. As you can see, the fees, we are paying 25 cents per every $1,000 invested. The dividend history, it does pay dividends, which is nice, and you have a capital gains history as well. I'm going to click on this blurb here, capital gains history. It's just displaying the date on which the most recent capital gains distributions were paid by the fund and the amount of those distributions. All right, so I downloaded the PDF of the Fidelity Small Cap Index Fund. I just want to go through this so we can kind of summarize this entire fund. All right, so Fidelity Small Cap Index Fund is a diversified domestic small cap equity strategy. And what it's doing is it's tracking the returns of the Russell 2000. So we review this fund. The manager is Geode Capital Management, ticker symbol FSSNX, and it started in 2011. In millions, 25 million is the fund so far invested within it, and it's a small blend. As we're looking at the performance summary, this is showing the Russell 2000 here. And then this shows the Fidelity Small Cap Index Fund that we have been showing in this video. And as you can see, year to date, the Russell is up 16.93%, whereas this Fidelity Fund is up 17.12%. So that's not a bad return for 1 year right there, year to date. And as you can see, the life of the fund shows 7% and 7%. But in the last 5 years, you've had almost 10% returns, which is excellent. Going over the performance review, it's talking about how the fund finished the fourth quarter roughly in line with the 14% result of the Russell index, which we just talked about was the 17%. Next, it shows you by how the performance by market segment. So small caps, what is really influencing this 3-month total return? Communication services at 9%, consumer discrepancy is 17%, staples at 13%. Energy has dipped at -6%, so you can get an idea of which small caps are outperforming and which are not. The biggest absolute contributors to this fund is Cytokinetics, the MicroStrategy. These are all companies. These are holdings within it. Immunogen, Marathon, which is Mara, and then Blueprint Medicine. But you know what I like seeing? Look at the average weight. The average weight is 0.14, 0.23. They don't take up too much. It's not a big concentration risk. Now you can see within this fund of Fidelity Small Cap Index Fund, this is your largest top 10 holdings that we reviewed. Take a snapshot of this. If I'll post on the link too as well, the PDF file in case you just want to look at this for yourself. But it just gives you a breakdown of everything we did, showing that the top 10 holdings, the asset allocation, went over that, the market segment diversification of the financials, industrials, healthcare, etc. All right, guys, that sums up the video on Fidelity Small Cap Index Fund. If you're looking for another fund that has a more concentrated risk, not 2,000 companies like FSSNX, what I want you to do is check out this video. I'm going to post a video on IJR. I'll click it at the end of this so you can just click right onto it, make it nice and easy. But IJR is another small cap ETF that I think can compete with FSSNX, and I'll attach the link for you below. All right, guys, if you made it to the end of the video this far, thank you so much. Consider subbing, liking, or just checking out any of my other videos. I got different videos on Fidelity, how to set up automatic investments, which is a very popular one. Fidelity Active Trader Pro, the setup for it when I day trade on it, and I post videos on that. And then different funds that I also like FSELX, the semiconductor, or just my analysis on SQQQ, because I'm always trying to short the market, but it seems like I usually fail trying to do that. But just check out the videos. If you like them, please leave a comment, subscribe, and share them. Thanks.